Prescription Writer in Welford Chart Notes. Today we're going to learn how to write prescriptions using Welford Chart Notes. You can open the Prescription Writer by pressing the toolbar button or by pressing Write Prescriptions. The Prescription Writer defaults to the current provider and name of the practice. First, enter the name of the patient. The program then looks up the patient's code number and address and birth date. Enter the name of the medication you wish to prescribe. As you start to type, the program shows you all of the drugs which begin with those letters. If the patient is already on the medication, you can click this drop-down button to see all of the medications that the patient is currently taking and select one from the list. The program automatically looks up the strength and dosing instruction and the last quantity prescribed for this medication. You can type over any of these to change them if you wish. You can use this box to enter an optional comment that goes with the prescription. Click the dose button to look up dosing information about this drug. You can enter an associated diagnosis in this box. Click the drop-down button to see a list of all of the diagnoses that the patient currently has recorded and select one from the list. Or type a diagnosis in directly. As you start to type, the program shows you all of the diagnostic terms which begin with those letters. Specify the number of refills and whether generic substitution is permitted. The program automatically looks up for you when the patient last had a visit and when the patient is next due for a visit. If the patient is overdue, you may decide not to allow any refills. The program also shows you the patient's activity level as stored in the name editor. If the patient is no longer an active patient, you may decide not to write the prescription. Press the ERX New Crop button to send the prescription electronically. This is discussed in a different video. You can type a patient reminder here, which occurs whenever you write a prescription for this patient, regardless of the drug. For example, that this patient prefers generic medication. Click the faxing button to send this prescription via fax. Click the jump button to jump to another program function and then return to the prescription writer where you left it. Click the print button to print the prescription on your printer. Now let's explore the prescription writer options. Check amount in words if you would like the quantity to be written out as words and not just as a number. Check Auto Check Upcoming to have the program automatically see if there are any upcoming reminders that this patient is due for. Or check Auto Show Upcoming if you wish to have the upcoming reminders window automatically pop up if the patient has any upcoming reminders. If you set it to 0 weeks in the future, then you will only be interrupted if the patient has reminders that are already due, not ones that are due in the future. Set Auto Form Feed to Yes if you wish the program to automatically send a form feed after each prescription. You can specify the name of the font you wish to use when printing prescriptions here. Check Include Birthday to include the patient's birth date on the printed prescription. Check Insert I before tab to have the letter I listed before the word tab if the number of tabs is not specified in your prescription. Choose whether you wish to have the label button checked by default or not. Set the left margin for printing the prescription here. Set the maximum number of lines per prescription here. Set this to determine whether May substitute is set to yes or no by default. Check month in words if you wish the month of the year to be written as a 3-letter abbreviation rather than as a numeral. Check multiple on one slip if you wish to have more than one medication printed on the same prescription slip. Specify here the number of refills that the patient will have as the default setting. Click 0 Refill Exceptions to specify certain classes of drugs which have 0 refills by default rather than the default number of refills. Check Omit Patient Address when printing if you do not want the patient's address to appear on the prescription. Specify the size of type used when printing the prescription. Adjust Print Center only to control how much of the prescription is printed on the page. Different settings are used depending on whether you are printing on a blank piece of paper or a pre-printed form. Check Print ICD code and diagnosis if you want this information included on the printed prescription. Specify whether you wish to have the number of refills written out as a word or only as a numeral. Check Retain Comment each time if your state requires a specific wording to appear in the comment section every time you print a prescription. Check Use Last Amount if you would like the program to default to the amount that you prescribed the last time you filled the prescription for this patient. If this box is unchecked, then the program looks at the round setting to determine what the default number of pills should be based on the frequency of the pills and the number of pills per day. Check Show Program Test Reminders if you would like the program-written medication test reminders to automatically be triggered when you are prescribing a medication. And check Show Test Reminders if you would like your own user-written medication test reminders to automatically be triggered. If you wish to have your signature automatically printed on the prescription, specify a file where you have stored your signature as an image. If you would like the strength of the medication to appear in both the RX and the SIG fields, check this box. Specify how much space to skip at the top of the page when printing a prescription here. If you are using a pre-printed prescription pad, you may wish to set this so that it skips over the heading on your prescription. Check this box if tramadol is considered to be a controlled substance in your state. The program will then prevent you from sending it electronically. Set the vertical skip to determine how many lines you should skip between the top part of the prescription and the middle of the prescription. Use this if you need the printing to line up with a particular pre-printed form. You can also write multiple prescriptions for the same patient by first opening the medication editor. Mark each of the medications that you wish to prescribe by using your right mouse button or utility mark, or press the F6 key to toggle between marking and unmarking a line. Then press the RX Writer button or utility RX Writer. Set the quantity and number of refills you wish to use, and use the last and next buttons to move back and forth among the different prescriptions. Click the Print button when you are ready to print the prescriptions. Choose Print All to print all of them at once. Choose Print 1 to only print the prescription currently shown on the screen. Choose Print 4 to a page to print 4 prescriptions on a single 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Choose Skip Printing this drug if you decide you do not wish to print the drug currently displayed on the screen, but still plan to print the other ones in the group. And that's how to use the prescription writer in Welford Chart Notes. For more information, visit us at emirj.com.